Hello, today I'm going to read Danitra Brown Leaves Town by Nikki Grimes, illustrated by Floyd Cooper. This is an interesting story. I actually like this story a lot because it's about two friends, and it's also about how one of the friends goes away for the summer and writes to her friend that stays in the city. So one of them's in the city and the other one goes to the country for the summer. I wonder if some of you have ever had that experience. I know I have. Danitra Brown Leaves Town. Big plans. School is out soon, and Danitra's advice is surrender to summer, to raspberry ices and pink lemonade and walks on the beach and at least one trip to the zoo, one Ferris wheel ride, one family barbecue, one Sunday school picnic, but never a lick of homework to spoil one afternoon. The bad goodbye. Danitra talked a blue streak about her summer trip all week. And now that she is on her way, she has the nerve to call and say which station she is leaving from, as though expecting me to come. I have better things to do, I blurt. The phone is silent. Danitra's hurt. But why am I supposed to care when my supposed to be best friend is leaving me and loving it? I wonder how she feels. She sounds kind of angry there. Noticing Nina. Summer insisted on starting for no good reason that I could see. I was alone with nowhere particular to be. One day, Nina from the neighborhood said she wondered if we could play a little handball. Now, I used to play handball when I was growing up, too. I wonder if any of you have ever played handball before. It's when you take a small ball, you throw it against the wall, and you hit it with your hand. I do that all the time. One day, Nina from the neighborhood said she wondered if we could play a little handball. I'm famous for the game, but I never knew that Nina liked it, too. She and I spent hours slamming that ball against the corner drugstore wall, wearing a hole in the bricks. Later, we talked and laughed a while, and after we said goodbye, I wondered why I'd never noticed Nina before. Maybe the summer wouldn't be such a bore. The letter. I sat frowning by my window when the mail truck came by with a letter from Danitra, who was many miles away. I said mean things when she left me. I was so mad at her then. Was she writing to forgive me or to say I'm not her friend? I ripped Danitra's letter open in spite of my worst fear. I bit my lip until I read, I wish that you were here. She must be relieved. First night. Dear Zuri, I wish that you were here. I camped out my first night in my aunt's backyard. Sleeping was hard with all the sparkling beauty hanging overhead. Night lights, Zuri, everywhere. Clusters of fireflies dancing round my head, keeping me from bed for hours. And the sky. I've never seen one so blue-black, like a thick overcoat, all buttoned up with stars. That's an interesting comparison. At midnight, I stretched my arms out to slip the darkness on and opened my eyes again at dawn. She's stretching her arms. Block party. Dear Danitra, tomorrow you're going to miss those giant speakers hissing and blasting loud, fast music into the crowded street. There'll be no sense in my trying to keep still. You know how that hot dance beat sizzles up through the concrete, grabbing hold of my feet? In a blink, I become a hip-swinging, head-bobbing, foot-stomping, fancy dancing fool. The dare. Dear Zuri, The kids here pretend to be tougher than they are. I ignore it mostly because they're nice in their own way. Besides, I think they maybe just tried to impress the city kid. Today, they dared me to climb up into a tree, and of course, I did. Then they yelled, "Okay, Miss Big Town Brown, jump down." Now, my mother taught me to use my head for more than a hat rack. So I climbed back down and said, "A dare is fine with me, but jumping from a tree is stupid and I'm no fool." Then I heard someone whisper, "She's pretty cool, that city girl." Zuri at bat. Dear Danitra, at the softball game last week, smart-mouthed TJ snickered loud and said, "What makes you think a puny girl like you can help us win?" "Exactly where you been?" I asked him, stepping in. When the pitch came, I slammed the ball so far it ripped through the crowds and headed for a star. My new friend Nina laughed and bet JT he couldn't hit a ball as far as me. He can't, and that's a fact. A different Danitra. I wonder how she's different. Dear Zuri, you'd probably laugh if you saw me now. I'm not exactly behind a plow, but still, here I am in the dirt, on hands and knees, yanking weeds, watering roses, dodging man-eating wasps, and one stubborn dragonfly, who I'm convinced wants me for lunch. Uh-oh. I have a hunch you'd like it here. There's a lake near, and tomorrow I thought I might go skinny dipping. Maybe that's different for her. Zuri's 4th of July. We had the day all to ourselves to search for seashells on the beach, to eat corn dogs and candied apples, to stroll a while, to talk and skip along the boardwalk, just Mom and me. Seeing my mom skip was worth the stuffy subway trip it took to get there. The holiday seemed barely long enough to measure, but I loved spending the day with my mom next to me, the pretty brownness glistening of her eyes and face in the light of the late-day fireworks. She must enjoy spending time with her mom. Danitra's family reunion. On the 4th of July, my cousins and I ran sack races, played kickball and tug-of-war before we heard our stomachs growl. We stopped for deviled eggs, buttered corn, coleslaw, fried chicken, potato salad, and strawberry pie jubilee. That sounds delicious. We sipped lemonade and listened to Grandma Brown's stories of when our folks were little. Then Uncle Joe handed our prizes for this year's graduates and for the best all-around student, which I won. By the time the day was done, I was full of fun and food and warm feelings, knowing that I am more than just me. I am part of a family. Dream places. Dear Danitra, since you left, I've put a map on my bedroom wall. I stick gold stars on all the places I'll travel someday. Zaire, Hong Kong, Bombay. I find each city in my geography book, look up the facts and figures, and write them down in a diary I keep beside my bed. I lay my head back on the pillow, close my eyes, and see myself a little closer walking down an African street, soaking in the heat of the sun. She has big dreams. I wonder how many of you wish to travel. You think she's really there? I think maybe she's imagining she's there now. Home again. A good hello is knowing when we're far apart at heart, we're still together and being glad you're home again, because that is 10 times better. They're back together again. You've just heard Danitra Brown Leaves Town by Nikki Grimes, illustrated by Floyd Cooper. Thank you.